In this video we want to talk about everything you need to know around the topic surf skates. So the surf skate deck, the wheels, the truck, the bearings, everything you need to know in case you want to afford your own surf skate or in case you want to tune your surf skate you already have a little bit to gain more performance. Starting with the deck, we want to make sure that the deck is wide enough for your foot size. So we want to place the whole foot on top of the skateboard. We don't want the toes or the heel hanging over the edge of a skateboard, because on a surfboard our toes and our heel is giving us a lot of control and a lot of information about where the deck is placed and where do we need to push a little bit more, a little bit less. So that's why we want to be sure to place the whole foot on top of the deck, as well as on the surfboard we want to have the toes and the heel touching the deck and being in full control at any time. Also, we want to have a long skateboard, so we are able to have a wide surf stand also on the surf skate. All those very tiny skateboards, they give you like a very narrow stand, but we want to maximize our stand to have like a lot of control also on the surf skate. That's why we need at least a little bit of size also in the surf skate, so we are able to have a solid wide stand on the surf skate. Then from the shape we want to have like a nice tail as well, because the back foot in surf skating is controlling a lot throughout the turn, especially when you start sliding. A big tail also is super important, so you don't lose like the grip on the tail, and also it gives you like a little bit more leverage. As further you place your foot behind the back truck, as more leverage you gain throughout the turn to push and to keep the traction on the back wheel. That's why you need to have like a wide tail, a wide skateboard, and a bit of size also in the skateboard, not too short boards. That's what I really do recommend. I brought a couple of different models here. So we have this one, we have this one. This one has like a little bit of rocker as well on the nose, not only on the tail. On the surf skateboard it's not that important to have a curved nose like that, because we are not standing on the skateboard. We rarely gonna pop or do ollies or kick flips or stuff like that. And actually we don't want to have our front foot placed on the nose. We want to have our front foot placed behind the front truck. If you don't know where to place your feet on the surf skate, check the video I done already. I explained everything about foot placement. So the feet or the front foot should be behind the front truck. That's why this is not that important. But if you are skating in a bowl, for example, and your feet sometimes like they get loose on the board, to catch the board again, a little nose can be very useful. Also you can do like some nice nose grabs or some little tricks also if you have a little curved nose. So that's why I like to skate those boards in the bowl or in the skate park, and I really like to skate those boards in the flat. I have a couple of more, so in case you have very wide feet, you see the difference. This is a super wide board, big foot, big board obviously, and in case you're very small, I have a little smaller version. So if you're like a tall guy, 1m80, 1m90, or even 2m tall, you should go for like a longer board. If you're a very small girl, 160, you could go also for something a little smaller, but wide with the tail and still a bit of size, so you are sure you can have like a wide surf stand also on the surf skate. That's the shape of those decks. Now coming to the technology, what's hidden inside the deck. So surf skate decks or any skateboard, most of the skateboards are built out of wood, and they layer the wood. So in this case we have 4 layers of wood, and you see little black lines in between. These are carbon fiber mats. So these are 4 layers of wood, and in between every layer they put like carbon fiber, and then they glue everything together with a biological epoxy resin to create like a very solid bond what holds over many years. The idea for this is a surf skateboard flexes a lot, and over the years, if you only work with wood, the wood fiber are losing up, and they lose like their life, their soul after a while. And then after a while, the skateboard feels a bit dead, like it just lost their soul. And if you add like carbon fiber and epoxy resin into it, the flex and the pops like stays there over many years. Even if you skate the board 5, 6, 10 years, you will still have like the same flex and the same pop like on the first day. That's why I really recommend like some fiberglass or carbon bonds on the skateboard. Really hard to find because it's nothing you do like an industrial wise. It's nothing commercial. You need to check like little skateboard shapers like those guys. If you're interested, just drop me a text in the comments and I will tell you where you can find those beautiful skateboards. But yeah, if you buy like mainstream brands, of course they all are checking their budget, and they don't use like the best quality wood. They won't use like carbon fiber because it's super expensive, and also epoxy resin is quite expensive. So if you search for like a very good high-end product, you need to put a little bit money on the table. If you buy like a full set or like a cheaper skateboard, you can't expect to have like the best decks on the market. But the deck for the beginner is not that important, because you can start with also like a classic deck, but after a couple of years you will feel like the deck is just kind of done. And then if you want to buy a new one, this might be a good option for a bit advanced people. Going to the trucks, we have different trucks in Surfskate. So we have trucks, they work with coil springs. You need to imagine inside there, I can check up, I have here one open. So inside here there's a little coil spring, and this coil spring, it does that once you push the truck in a direction, the truck pops back to its original shape. It appears that this coil spring is helping to gain this carving momentum, but it's not like that. This coil spring is just putting the truck back to its original position, because there are a bunch of trucks out there, they don't work with coil springs, they are completely loose, and they still carve, and you still get this surf skate momentum out of it. What gives you the surf skate feeling, or this carving feeling, is actually the suspension of the truck. So they have like the kingpin here, and they have a second kingpin here. So by moving the suspension of the truck further to the back, the truck gains like a lot of freedom, a lot of reach, especially in the front truck. And it does that in a turn, the inside facing wheels of the turn, they face closer to each other. So the radius of your turn you can choose, and you can tighten it up, or you can open the radius of your turn as you wish. And this is what creates the surf skate motion. So the front truck and the back truck, the wheels are facing towards each other, and this second rotation in the front truck opens like the world of carving. If you see, like for example, for those guys who ski, the surf skate, I would say like is the carving ski under the skateboards, or a carving snowboard. But it's the same like in skiing or snowboarding. Not only having a carving ski will make you carve, you also have to carve with your body. Every motion, every movement need to be right to get this carving motion out of it. I also made a video about that. If you want, just check it on my channel. So yeah, we have trucks with coil springs. We have trucks with pushings. So this truck, for example, doesn't work with a coil spring. It works with these little plastic pushings. So they get compressed, and after they get compressed, they pop back to their original shape. I have here one up. Exactly, that's the back truck. This is the front truck. So you see, there are no coil spring involved. It's only the plastic pushing what get compressed. And also this creates like the V shape of the wheels, and gives you the option to gain speed out of the turn, to gain this carving momentum. There are many more trucks, but basically there are those that work with pushings, those who work with coil springs, and those who don't work with any pushing or coil spring. They work with like a different suspension. They give you a lot of freedom, a lot of reach, but they can be tricky also. So for my opinion, for sure, everyone has a different kind of opinion, and I think there is no easy truck and harder truck. Of course, there are a couple of trucks where in the first 5 minutes you might struggle a lot, but after a while, if you understood like the truck, it's the same. Like there are no harder trucks to skate or easier trucks to skate, but every truck has a specific scenario or playground where it feels the most comfortable. So for myself, all those trucks who has like coil springs hidden inside and they have like a lot of reach, what means that the front truck can move a lot, like this one for example, I recommend them a lot for flat skating and really surf training. So if you want to train your surf, if you want to focus on the anatomy of a turn, if you're on a flat ground or going slightly down, that's very nice truck, because you have a lot of freedom in the truck, what gives you like the opportunity to keep the radius of your turn really tight and narrow, or big as well. But yeah, for beginners, this freedom might feel like a little loose and a little bit wonky and wobbly, but after a while, this looseness or this sketchiness turns into freedom. You can just like surf skate on 2 square meter and do an 8 with those trucks, because the radius are really tight. Compared to those trucks, they work with pushings. These are a bit stiffer. You need to push more to get surf skate feeling or to get carving motions out of it. They are more stable. I really like to skate them if I need to push a lot, what means like in the city, if I need a bit more control, if I need to push with my feet instead of like carving on a big flat open space. So if the streets are getting narrow and I'm in the city, I prefer to have like pushings, because it just gives you a bit more stability if you want to push. Also in the skate park, I really like to work with those pushings, because the same thing, we want to gain a bit of stability, we want to gain we might drop in, so we don't want the front truck to be too loose and to be too sketchy in case we do like a little air, or if we do like a little move on the coping, 50-50 or something. We want to be sure that the front truck is not like wiggling around. Yeah, so for bowls I prefer to have those trucks. For flat open, big flat open space and surf training, I prefer to have trucks with coil springs and a lot of freedom, mobility, let's say. Price wise, there are a lot of surf skate brands on the market right now. 5 years ago it wasn't the case, but meanwhile there are a lot of replicas out there. Just because it's a replica, I want to say it doesn't need to be bad. There are replicas out there of Carver, Yo, and all these kind of very famous brands, and the replicas they can be very good. I actually skate a replica of a Carver truck, what works very well for me. In my opinion, it's lighter and feels the same, and it's a little bit cheaper. But even there, if you buy like a replica, don't go too cheap. If you find like a surf skateboard for like €100, it's not gonna do the job. It might feel fun the first 5 minutes, but if you really want to go into carving and into surf skating, you should afford at least €250 to €300 in a full complete set of a surf skate. And there are a bunch of reasons for that. First of all, like we just talked about, the quality of the deck. So we have the quality of the wood, we have carbon fiber, fiberglass, epoxy, wood glue. All this is on different pricing. So if you want to have like a good deck, I don't recommend to buy complete sets, because on complete sets the deck mostly the wood is shit quality. I have a lot of decks, they delaminate it, they start to yeah, lose their soul and all this after a very short time. So I recommend maybe buy a complete set, and after a while you need to buy a new deck. But just for you to know that the wood quality is mandatory in the deck, and yeah, out of which component this deck is done, and how it's glued together, or with wood glue or with epoxy, makes a huge difference. Then the trucks, we already talked about it. Yeah, if you buy complete sets from main big factories, the truck is good. All their trucks are very nice, but they save a lot of money in the deck, in the wheels, in the bearing. Yeah. So the wheels, that's also something we need to talk about it, because yeah, you can spend a lot of money, and many people are asking, why do I need to spend like 80 to 100 euro for four wheels, for one set of wheels, if I can spend 20 euro on one set of wheel? And the difference is that, for example, yeah, this wheel, Blood Orange, sorry to name this brand, but yeah, those wheels, they do wheels since, I don't know, many years, and there are many other brands also doing wheels for a very long time, but they put so much development into like the compounds of this wheel. So they really had a bunch of thoughts going into this product. When does it need to start sliding? How hard should it be? How soft should it be? What do we want to get out of this wheel? And for this, there are so many different wheels. I would recommend for every beginner, you don't need to buy the crazy wheel for 100 euro at the beginning, because you probably won't start sliding tomorrow. Yeah, at the beginning you start to cruise, to carve around a little bit, but if you actually start to slide, you will feel a difference. You will feel, you will hear, and you will see the difference during your slide. When does the board starts to slide, and when does the wheel starts to grip again? And for that, yeah, there are a bunch of different wheels. It's really hard to give a recommendation, but I think like after a while, after 1 or 2 years of surf skating, if you start sliding, a set of solid wheels, of good wheels, yeah, should be good. Also important, if you see those wheels, they are not completely square. They are a little rounded here on the side. If you want to skate in skate parks, these rounded edges are very important if you want to go on top of the coping. The coping is this metal bar on top of the quarter on the skate park. Because if you have wheels, and I have another one here, they are very sharp edges, as you can see here, very sharp edges. This little edge like to just wheel bite a little bit into the coping, what can be a bit sketchy after a while. That's why I really recommend to have wheels. They have rounded edges, don't need to be a lot, but at least a little bit, yeah. Then also the hardness of the wheel is important. We have like soft wheels and we have hard wheels. So for soft wheels, I recommend, for example, this board on the flat ground, I put soft wheels because I want to have a lot of grip. So when I'm carving, I like to have a lot of grip. When I'm sliding, yeah, it's not the grip, it's not that important, but also during the slide, there are a bunch of different feelings from the grip. For example, I have here a set of wheels. It's called the smoke wheels, and those ones, you go into the slide and you don't feel the slide like starting, and that's actually a very nice feeling because it just starts to slide very smooth, and you don't have this, oh, now the board starts to slide and I need to react. So you can really go into the slide in a very smooth way and then get out of it whenever you want to. Yeah, for skate parks, because I see more and more people skating surf skates in the bowl as well, and me as well, for example. In the skate park, I like to skate harder wheels. They look pink and soft, but they are actually quite hard. This is a 95. 95, so there are numbers on the wheels, 95, 78, 76, all those soft wheels are like, for example, these red ones are 70, what means very soft. These are 74 and these are 95, so this is the hardness of the wheel. And for the skate park, I prefer a bit harder wheels. Few things you need to take care if you skate harder wheels on the skateboard. So first of all, the slide's gonna feel completely different. It's gonna make a really strange sound, more like on a regular skateboard, and the slide doesn't feel like you have any control throughout the slide. It feels like sliding kind of on ice. And also, when you are in the bowl and you still want to do this surf skate motions or this push motions, it might happen that the front truck or the front wheel starts to get loose, and you lose your grip on the front wheel. That's why once you have this harder wheels on the surf skate, I recommend treat the skateboard, especially in the flat part of the bowl, more like a regular skateboard. Don't try to go too much into surf pushes and stuff, because it can be a bit tricky with those hard wheels. The benefit of those hard wheels is you're faster in the bowl because the concrete is very nice, so you're faster in the bowl. And on the coping, it feels very comfortable as well, because you don't have those soft wheels. They might wheel bite, they might don't give you the feedback you expect. You have the hard wheels and it feels a bit more like skating. Yes, another thing for those guys who want to surf skate in the bowl, I found out I have this truck here, and as you can see, the kingpin on the front truck is standing over the truck itself. So what means if you go into a 50-50 slide, this kingpin will be a bit disturbing. Yeah, check if you want to skate in a skate park. Now after I bought this truck, I might check for one who doesn't has the kingpin too far out. This one, for example, doesn't has it. This is the back truck, front truck, yeah, better. Not perfect, but a little better. Good. Then, how to choose which skateboard you want to buy is also a big question, because as a beginner, you don't really know. You don't know what you want to do, you don't know where you want to skate, and all those kind of things. So I recommend go and try them. Try them a couple of times. If you have friends who has a surf skate, just rent it out for a day or two. See if you feel comfortable, and try different trucks as well. Yeah, everyone has like one what suits the best for him, at least at the beginning. And just try play around with the different trucks and see which one fits the best for you. Price wise, we already said, like, I would go 250-300 euro minimum. If you have the option to go into a little local skate shop and kind of put your deck together by yourself, the board can cost easily up to 400-450 euro. Because every single compound then is very good. For example, we have bearings. You can buy bearings for 20 euro. You can buy titanium bearings for 100 euro. You can buy wheels for 20 euro. You can buy wheels for 100 euro. And yeah, that's where the surf skate then gets very expensive. And yeah, that's where you can spend a lot of money, or at the beginning you might save a lot of money. But don't save at the wrong places. Buy a good truck, yeah, because the truck will stay with you for a long time, and then step by step, just step up your skateboard with a better deck, with better wheels, with better bearings. Bearings, for myself, I don't buy the best bearings you can find, because I think the classic bearings for 20 euro does the job. I prefer changing them like every 6 months or once in a year, once in a while, once they are fucked. For example, this one, if the bearing turns like that, you know, it should turn like this, yeah. Especially if you skate in the bowl, you're happy to have good bearings, because otherwise you need to push and push and push. And also in the flat, if you're in a very flat space and you have nice bearings, you really will feel the effect of your carving. If you have shitty bearings, you might feel it very short, but then the board is breaking again. Yeah, so that's all the little tips and tricks I have found out on my surf skates and on my surf skate journey. I hope I could help you with a couple of questions you might have. If you have more questions, just drop them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them. And if you want to know about the products I have here, it's the same thing. Just give me a little message in the comment and I will answer as fast as I can. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you in the next video.